All right, let me try this and see if I can get away with it. Goes by so slowly in time. All right, so the reason I am sharing that is I just saw the Elvis movie on Netflix. Thought it was real good. Thought the young actor portrayed Elvis really well. But at the end of the movie, they show Elvis doing his last performance in 1977, and he's singing this song. My family was real big on Elvis. He was larger than life. Heard a lot of his songs growing up. And so this is how sometimes the Mandela effect works. And you're sitting here doing it, and you're sitting here listening to something. And as you're listening to a song that you've heard a lot of times, it's playing in your head, and the words are coming to you right before the singer sings them. And as Elvis is doing his little song here, just like everybody else. The words are in my head, and he gets to and time. This part about and time can, and I'm in my mind. I'm saying and time can mean so much. That's just strong in my mind. It's and time can mean so much. Not what he says. He says do. So that's like, all right, where am I getting mean from? I know there's other versions of this song. I discovered that in doing this research. One thing you're right about studying, researching Mandela effects is it gets you digging, and you start getting the backstory and the history and all kinds of interesting synchronicities around things and how life works. Um, Found out that after this movie about Elvis, not Lisa, Priscilla went to the premiere and died the next day, which I find interesting because she died of. They say she took too much diet pills trying to look good for the premiere, and then dies the next day. Which, when you know Elvis and his issues with the pharmaceuticals and how his life was up and down, and then she dies the next day because of that. And it just reminds me of like how sometimes people seem to like choose how they're going to die and when they're going to die. Like all those Civil War vets who used to meet every single year, and then like the last generation of them met the last time, and a whole bunch of them, they just all dropped out of this planet after their last final get together. And it just so many times people, it's like, I'm not going to die until I've done this one thing, and then they do it. But that's another aside. This whole thing on this song, Unchained Melody, um, I have in my mind, and time can mean so much, and yet the proper words are, and time can do so much. Curious what others have on that, what their memory is. I'm also, I'm not going to claim this is 100%, but I did find something that I felt was a glitch in reality, and let me see if I can find this without getting in trouble. So there's this guy named Gene Vincent, and this is the only one that I can find. I've listened to all these different versions of people singing it, and people, just regular everyday people doing it. This is a great video from Moneybags to dig into because he does a good job with that. But the only one that I can find using the word mean, time can mean so much, is Gene Vincent. Are you still interested in this? And here, hold on, I'm getting the advertisement. So here's Gene Vincent's lyrics. He's the only one that I can find saying the word mean, but I highlighted it because I've listened to every single one of him doing this, and he doesn't say time can mean so much, and yet that's the only place. So you can see in the beginning here where the first lines, it says, I hungered for your touch. A long, and I'm not going to sing for you. I won't punish you like that. But a long, lonely time goes by so slowly, and then he says, like he's forgot the line. It's like the reality glitches here. Instead of saying time can mean so much, he says, I hung means so much. I mean, listen to it. Let me see if I can find it properly. I'm going to try and cue it up. All right, you ready? Now listen. Time goes by so slowly. Time can mean so. Right, so you hear him, he says, I hung can mean so much. So that's what he says, I hung can mean. So it's not time can mean so much that he says. Every version of it, it's like I hung. And actually, I think that can kind of slipped its way in there. I could have swore it was just I hung means so much, but now I'm hearing it. I hung can mean so much, but it's kind of a glitch because all the versions I see, and then you got other people that are singing, and they say they're singing Gene Vincent's rendition on YouTube, just like normal everyday people that are singing. And every single one of them will sing, and time can do so much. So I don't know. It's just it seems like a glitch, which gets me down the road of thinking about reality being a copy, a poor copy of another version of reality. And as what happens when you make copies of things, sometimes the copies are a little imperfect versus the original, and it feels to me like this is glitched in reality. Like maybe there was a time when everybody was saying, and time can mean so much. But now the only version we have of that is Gene Vincent, and he isn't even singing it that way. It's I hung can mean so much, which is just goes along with the glitch theory that we've got a copied world and it glitches. Kind of like the golden rule. A better, cleaner version of it is do unto others as you would have others do unto you. And now it doesn't say anything like that. It's all butchered up and just not as clean. Just some residuals for you here. Because we always got to just pull up the residuals. You've got this choir, and they're quoting it, and time goes by so slowly, and time can mean so much. Just different versions of people remembering or saying mean, and time can mean so much. Just because there's something out there that remembers mean, just like I did. I was like, and time can mean so much. That's what I remembered it. So when I heard do so much, I just was kind of thrown when I heard that. And here's this one's do. So this is the lyrics. This is the original lyrics too. This is a song by Alex North and Hy Zaret. They supposedly they wrote it in the 30s, and the original writing says do, and time can do so much. But all kinds of people are, and here's a poet who's kind of twisted the lyrics around to being a poem and changed it to time goes by so slowly when words can mean so much. Instead of do, he says mean. More, there's a book that's quoting the song and quoting it. Time can mean so much. Another book. Down at the bottom here, want to say 6D, and time can mean so much. And I know there's others out here that do this. Moneybags would be great. He'd probably pull the stuff up and actually play the little clips for you. I'm just certain to get a strike for even trying to record a little bit. But time can mean so much. And even the ones quoting Gene Vincent says time can mean so much, but I hear him saying I hung can mean so much. Like he's trying to say I hunger line again. And, sometimes I think about reality in that terms. Sometimes I think about reality making a copy, this current copy, and almost as if some sort of foreign alien intelligence or AI intelligence, whatever it is, doesn't quite realize it's made an error, or an error slips past it. So you get these lines where Gene Vincent is singing "I Hung" can mean so much. Wanted to point out too that maybe it's Mandela. Mandela did a video on this same song 2 years ago, and she's got a great voice. She actually starts singing the beginning, but she was just noticing that in the beginning, instead of the first word being "oh," there's some versions where it's "whoa," and that's with the Righteous Brothers. She saw that, but I've seen kind of both lyrics on that one too, so that's a whole nother thing to get into. We could go down that path, but you can listen to her video on that. The other thing too is sometimes just going back to like reality being a copy but not as good of a copy. You've got things like Dolly not having braces anymore in the movie. I think that's one of the strongest examples of like an error, like this alien AI program copying the old reality didn't quite get the humor or the art in having her have braces and left it off like it's some kind of glitch or error. I mean, that's what she looks like now in this reality. She doesn't have braces. The scene doesn't make sense artistically anymore. It loses some fabric of meaning that like the AI didn't get and just failed to fix. Same thing with Lucy. You've got some splaining to do. The having that not in there anymore, it's missing some of its flavor. The "say goodnight, Gracie" line, now she's just saying "good night, Gracie," almost like the AI didn't get the joke. It just kind of left it out. It just lacking the humor. There's a lot of changes that seem subpar compared to the way they should be and the way we all remember them being. These changes in this new reality seem to be like errors. Now, I will admit some things seem better, but for a large part, a lot of these changes don't make sense. Hi ho, it's home from work we go. That's not as good as it's off to work we go, and that's what it was. Home from home we going home versus going out. That's an interesting theme too. But the Curly Q Ford not as good. The robot doesn't say. I mean, there's like one episode where he says "Danger, Will Robinson," and it's not the same way. It's not even close. But this was like the iconic saying of the show. I actually watched this when I was a kid. It's for it to not be in the episodes frequently doesn't make sense. This is goofy. Notes in the margin, that's kind of where we get the idea of cliff notes, because off in the margin it was like falling off the cliff there, but now it's not cliff notes. We've got these versions with these other people saying cliff notes, but now the copied version of reality seems to think that it's cliffs. Instead of cliff, it's cliffs. It pluralizes for some reason. Cliffs doesn't sound right on the tongue. Makes no sense. This line in this movie is not as funny now that he just simply says "I see dead people." It's not nearly as funny as the other way. Interview with the Vampire is not, to me, it's not as artistically good as the A that we remember that never existed. Same thing with Field of Dreams. To me, "They Will Come" makes a lot more sense. It's better instead of "he." The "Hello Clarice" scene, which never existed, it's kind of flat now. They're meeting. The scene isn't nearly as good as if that were still the case. So it just seems like the copies of reality aren't as strong. Now, I will say, and same thing with the Chevy logo. I thought the Chevy logo with the slanted all the way through was a better version of what it is now. But on the flip side, there's probably some Mandela effects you can think of that are better now. You might like some of the changes. I think the Mustang logo looks a little cooler than it did in the past reality for me personally. But that's just a personal preference thing. But when looking for, I'd like somebody to explore, somebody out there maybe do a little digging and just explore the glitch nature of reality. Like these songs with Gene Vincent singing "I Hung" can mean so much. That's kind of weird, but whatever. We're just trying to figure this place out. And I did find the song itself, Unchained Melody, is really a timeless song. I mean, it's very moving. Just listening to that song. Um, there's something great about that song and great about it being a Mandela effect, and I appreciated listening to it and kind of going down memory lane a little bit with that one. Now, Elvis was truly a scoundrel when it came to sexual deviation, but um, just he had a very interesting life and some connections with my family. There's a person in the family not too far off who was dating Elvis before he um, became famous, and then we also have another family member that's, we swear he's one of Elvis's love child babies. He looks and talks, sounds just like Elvis, looks just like Elvis, and he doesn't like anybody making the reference, so we don't bring it up. I don't know why he finds that so offensive. He's adopted, but oh my gosh, Elvis all day long. Um, and then you've got kind of story parallels too with Michael Jackson and, King of Rock versus and King of Pop, and then his sexual deviation was really, really bizarre. And the way he died, Michael Jackson died of that pharmacy. I mean, very similar circumstances there, and even the connection to the Elvis family with him. Sometimes you think when you see life come together in such weird ways, it feels like we're following a script, like reality is in some sort of story mode. And this is just, for whatever reason, for whoever's amusement, these things have to just play out. But when I see glitches, when I see things truly glitching out, I start wondering if this is a bad copy. And you know how it is with these songs, you're playing it in your mind as you're hearing the words, and then it gets to that word. It's like, wait a minute, that's not in my memory. And I thought I was going to find a lot of songs, like a lot of different versions of this. And I thought maybe it'd be 50-50, like half of the songs would say time can mean so much and the other half say do. But no, it's every song is time can do so much, except that one version of Gene Vincent. I listened to every single one Gene Vincent had on YouTube. Every single one. It's I Hung and then Can Mean So Much. And to be honest, that Ken just kind of slipped in on there. I could have swore it was just I Hung Mean So Much. But it's like a glitch. It's like the AI just put it together at the wrong part. Like there's a cut. There's an editing cut mistake right there. That's what it feels like. But he's the only one saying mean. The only one. And I know I didn't know about Gene Vincent. I'd never heard him. I guarantee I didn't hear his songs growing up. There was no Gene Vincent in my house. There was Elvis. So why is my mind defaulting to and time can mean so much and it sounds right and I'm hearing that and yet that's not it? I should be hearing the way it's always been. But so a couple different things there. Mandela effect on that song, possibly. I'm not going to put 100% label on that one. I'm just saying possibly. And I'm also going to say possibly a glitch in this reality because maybe the copy didn't come through as clean as it should. Maybe it gets cleaned up later. We'll see. But wanted to share that. Thanks for listening and have a good day. God bless.